Welcome back to the China Supermajor. You are joining us in the opening rounds of the group stages here in Shanghai. We are following Group B today, which means that we are in the middle of EG versus Vici gaming, but there are four opening games happening right now. So before we jump into Game 2 of EG Vici, just quickly catch up with me of what happened so far in the other matchups. There's two results that are not very surprising. Newbie was able to beat their opponent, which was Navi, and Virtus.pro was able to dominate TNC on the other side of Group B. And then one match of Group A was a little bit surprising. It was Liquid versus Team Spirit, and Team Spirit was victorious. And I believe, Alan, you have a little stat for us.
Just a little fun trivia for you guys. There are almost exactly 1,000 player-hero combinations with over 40 appearances all time in professional Dota 2. And of those, the three highest kills per game, right at all around about 11 kills per game, are CTY Queen of Pain, QO Phantom Assassin, and Illidan Slark. And he did it against Liquid.
And not just that, there was also
kills.
a G Jakiro mid.
Yeah, against a TA. It was great. The last two picks in the draft were TA by Liquid, and the Spirit came back with the Jakiro mid and just forced TA into the safe lane.
Surprising result?
I think it's a bit draft-based.
Yeah.
Jakiro kind of crushes TA, and I think this meta, more so than any other we've seen in the past, is incredibly draft-focused.
And this is also why best of threes rule.
I've never seen a TA win when it's on safe lane, ever. It's like probably one of the worst safe laners in Dota.
I disagree. I think you can actually...
Like it?
It's not terrible if you get a matchup, but I don't think that you're playing against Slark Jakiro cores. It's not a TA game.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
All right, if we're talking about games being draft-focused, we're switching back to Group B because we have got a game that, based on draft, we kind of all agree that EG had the better draft in game number 1, while Vici had a bit of a one-dimensional plan, but they were able to execute that perfectly.
I don't think we expected the lanes to go as they did.
No.
And it just Ember, Gyro get over-leveled, and they have a bounty. It just, the Lanham line was on point. Like they just played better.
All right.
And, you know, kind of shows EG roster's good on paper, but a day to prepare, 2 days to prepare.
Yeah.
I think it's just like the first 5 minutes probably decided the game pretty much because of the lanes. They wanted LC against Bad Rider, which is really good, and they wanted to put the tri-lane against the Gyro, which would have crushed the Gyro, but neither worked out. So instead, they got crushed on all lanes. Well,
AG on Radiant once more.
Yeah. Razor. First pick.
Another first pick, Vici as well.
And once again, the lanes, the band's very focused around the support pool.
Yeah.
Not surprising.
A Razor first pick. I have not seen it in a long time.
I like it, though, because they had picked Gyro first last game. Now they leave it. They take the Razor. It's your pretty much just one-to-one counter. You land a link on him, and you remove
you can't
the
do
threat.
anything.
Yeah.
The hero that was banned previous game that is still in, by the way, is Warlock.
You can remove the flag? I don't think you can. It's unpurgeable.
It says it's purgeable on the tooltip, but it is...
okay, when you get doomed, it doesn't get removed.
Not through BKB. It's a very weird interaction.
Well, I don't know. It's like the only spell that makes him good.
The other thing about Vici picking Razor is that Ori is one of the few players that can really farm extremely quickly on Razor. Razor is a hero that a lot of farming cores kind of struggles to sustain that same farming rate on. Ori is very, very good.
And because they rotate too much, they don't really know how to... Like, the farming patterns are quite tricky on Razor.
Exactly, exactly.
Let's try
There we go. Yep. I like the Prophet.
Oh, yeah.
Probably a support Prophet, right?
And it was interesting. It was arguably Misery that helped pioneer the 5-position Nature's Prophet in the previous incarnation of EG, but I still really like it.
I'm scared about this bounty. I don't know if I like them taking out like the Bane and the Lycan. You see LGD as well. Anytime they get Bounty Hunter, they seem unstoppable. And I think this hero just activates the way Vici wants to play.
This is a bit weird right now, right? Lash and Nature's Prophet already means Lash is not support. Like Lash Prophet support is...
It's also already a great bounty game.
I think what it says. Go ahead, Kyle.
Well, bounty removes the Lesh's move speed advantage that he usually has, and it's also a very squishy hero. You find the Lesh, you set up burst, you kill him, and you crush Prophet as well. You just find him, land a track, chase him down. If you're EG, you can snowball a bit, but I just feel like Vici's lineup is already a bit favored, just because I think tower pressure is less useful nowadays, and games are going longer, and all of a sudden Bounty Hunter is inevitably going to make an impact.
Yeah, I think what this says to me is that EG looks at the previous game and says, look, we screwed up the lanes. Period.
They want to secure their lanes.
Like, I think that obviously, I just can't get back away from this one point, that you just can't lose the lanes like that against a Bounty Hunter lineup. If you do, you're just going to be You're just going to be dead in the water.
Yeah, but you don't want to have a game where there's a lot of movement either. You want a static landing phase where you just sit your Luna somewhere for 8 to 10 minutes, but they were already behind by that point. And as you said, you just Lion Bounty Hunter supports. Like, you need to abuse these heroes. If they're ahead, it's just it's already going to be a rough game.
So if you could choose, would you rather have Lash Core or Prophet Core?
I think it goes either way. It depends on how you want to play the Prophet. I think Liquid's Prophet style is super strong when they have Miracle play it.
Style, right?
Sure.
No, Miracle Prophet.
But he's also going offlane with it, right? Usually like dual lanes.
But he's not the 3. He's,
right,
he's the 1.
He's
yeah,
the one,
I think 1 Prophet is sick, but I'm not super sold on it as an offlaner.
Does anyone else do it? No, only Liquid, right? And the other teams run it as support, like Mineski on position 4, I believe. EG. Does Crit play Prophet?
There's at least a couple other teams. Vega's one. There's a couple other teams that have experimented with on the safe lane, just as a variation.
Right?
No. As a safe lane farmer, as a variation, right? But it's pretty rare.
Yeah.
I still favor the Leshrac as a core.
It should be
Big time.
I think this new EG is 80–90% of the time going to be picking it as a core.
Ooh. Bounty Hunter and Tusk.
Yeah. What do we think about Tusk, guys? This is a hero that's fallen off dramatically since the nerfs.
I mean, he got chart nerfs a lot, right?
Yep.
Like the cooldown got increased, the duration got decreased. He still has a very good talent at level 10 and 90 GPM. And all around, he's just a very good roaming support hero. But it's just like other heroes kind of like got buffed, whereas he got nerfed. So.
In the pre-show, we also talked about how we like that there's the 5 position is fully back. Surely the draft for Vici so far, this doesn't really promote a full 5 position.
They always play position 5 bounty hunter on X Nova. Even last game, the line was position 4.
Yeah.
The bounty bought all the wards.
Does he?
Yeah.
Fenrir. But yes.
They always do that. There's always a position 5
Fenrir.
bounty. And when LGD picks it, it's always the X Nova guy playing it. Position 5 as well.
I like the Veno pick. I'm super high on this hero.
It owns Razor too.
Yeah, it crushes
magic
Razor.
damage.
Yeah.
It actually kind of crushes Bounty Tusk in some way as well, where as long as you get your spells off, you're going to be fine. A natural Force Staff buyer, which you really want against a Tusk and a Razor as well. And already you look at EG's draft, if they can abuse spacing, kite the link, don't take some bad fight into shards, like the damage output from Vici isn't really there yet.
Why does he counter Razor, by the way?
The slow of your auto attack and your poison sting and your ward have independent applications. So you effectively will slow a Razor by about 20+% through BKB. And you also do gratuitous amounts of magical damage, and it's a very BKB reliant hero. Into the late game, when your Nova starts ticking for 25 full seconds, Razor doesn't really have the ability to fight into you.
All right.
And you don't care about the link at all on the hero.
Yeah.
You kind of just run away. You put wards in front of you, and you run away from him.
Yeah, and one thing I think you have to think about in playing against the Bounty Hunter is offsetting the vision advantage that hero provides.
Yeah.
And you have so much vision now on the side of EG between the Rocket Flare, between the Veno wards. Prophet can provide vision with his Trance. I think their team fight is going to be much, much better here.
And honestly, the only way to really play against the Venom comfortably is to burst them down, but VG has like 0 burst.
You're underestimating the laning stage, I think. Tusk Omni, they're going to just roll on top of pretty much any EG hero, and that hero's going to die.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm concerned that the same thing might happen, where Vici can take a laning phase advantage, and all of a sudden they're 2K ahead, and their draft is going to continue to snowball. Like, the EG lineup, once again, wants a slower game. They want to be able to make their moves and rotations first. Plant Venom wards down, Fury and TPs in. They make stuff happen. But if they're not ahead, you never have the ability to actually bully out heroes like Omni and Razor.
So you would fancy Tusk Omni dual lane then, yeah?
Oh, for sure.
But that means Paparazzi needs like a safe lane here that can kind of be like self-sustainable.
I don't know. Liquid and VP have both shown that Veno is a better hero against aggro dual lanes than I thought.
It could also be a Papa Omni Knight.
Paparazzi?
Theoretically.
Carry Omni?
Yeah.
That
Well,
may
I
be
mean,
too fancy.
VP started that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
With
I mean, he's
Ramses?
got 100 damage talent, guys.
Yeah?
Is it 100 or 90?
Might be 90.
Might be 90, yeah.
You get 90 GPM at
90
level 10, though.
GPM. And then like 50% degen on level, what, 20 is it?
Something like that.
Yeah, it's insane.
I mean, you
It is
effectively
insane.
have a Midas.
Yeah.
Because you hit level 10.
3 Midas.
And Core Omni's going to do that by, 10, 15 minutes, so.
Yeah. Like 2 demon edges worth of damage.
Yep.
It's pretty good.
DP ban. Storm ban from EG. I think that's a good choice.
Yeah. The repelled storm would destroy them.
Yeah, they have nothing for him.
And Ori is a very good storm player. I'm not too sold on Paparazzi Razor, by the way. I've seen it played a lot. by him, but
think
he didn't do well.
Yeah.
Ori's Razor is way better in my opinion.
You are 100% correct.
I really want to pop Omni Knight this game.
You think it's gonna happen?
I think it's super strong. Yeah.
But it's very experimental, right? They don't do it usually.
And there's so many so many pickable safe laners though for VG.
No, but
It's
you
self-sustainable
don't
too?
you don't want. Yeah, there's not enough. I don't feel that you can actually leave alone. An Omni Knight can play by himself after he gets a little bit of help from a support. You pick another like an offline type hero for 11.
Queen of Pain.
That works.
So it is the Paparazzi Razor then, right?
Yeah.
No,
safe lane
not
Quap.
necessarily.
Yeah, safe lane Quap, they
Vici
play
runs
it.
a lot of safe lane Quap, and Paparazzi is very, very good on that hero.
I really do not like safe lane Quap against the Prophet though.
He really, it's got to be said, when I say he's good on that hero, his last couple of appearances have looked really suspect. They've struggled with it a lot in Birmingham.
Yeah. I actually would not mind a core Prophet this game. I think it's going to end up support 5, but a core Prophet has really favorable laning matchups in this game. The only concern is you feed really hard to these support rotations.
Yeah.
Tusk and Bounty just slaughter you.
I mean, when you look at it, like EG has been, so many cores have been banned in the last 6 bans. So I don't know. Maybe they are thinking about core Prophet.
I think it's probably gonna be. Wait, Razor.
you know what?
They don't have any physical damage or scaling. I'd say
Can you be stupid in Bloodseeker here?
I mean, you could, but then you're so all in. Like if the game goes past minute 30, you lose.
Yeah,
pretty much.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
Who knows, man?
I don't know whether it's core Lash or Prophet yet. Yeah. If I knew, I could make a better assessment
I really,
of the situation.
really like the Quap. Like, if you look at EG's heroes, who's the clock really threatening in this game? Theoretically, it's the Razor, but he's going to be so tanky and eventually by a BKB.
Or
They're
even
very
Hurricane
tempo-based. And, like, you're going to have a Quap teleporting in. All of a sudden, there's a Tusk and a Bounty there, like with the other core that was in the lane. You have so much burst damage, and the Bounty Hunter activates these Quap Ember-type heroes because they can snowball and scale through a product of just existing in a team fight.
Yeah, I mean, Quap has shown a lot of times it's a hard carry thing. And Dragon.
Wow. I do not know about that,
guys.
It's
a DK mid? But that is really weird.
So. Yeah, it's a 5 Prophet. Yeah, Arteezy
Veno.
Wait, do you really want to put a DK mid? I think they just put Razor mid and Quap safe lane, and they completely outlane them.
This draft just got so awkward by EG in the last 2 picks.
I don't like this DK. I kind of outdrafted themselves there, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think in retrospect they got in trouble with the Veno. Lush and Veno are just so similar in terms of the damage distribution they offer.
Are they both? Who's the support? I didn't see it.
The Prophet.
The Prophet support.
Fly is playing the Prophet. Assuming no swaps. Gotta go Vici.
All right, Black.
VG.
All right, what does EG need to do then, Kyle?
Geez, maybe make a few more roster changes.
Oi, well, that looks like it might be a rough one. You want to give some advice for in the game?
They got to snowball. They got to take a bunch of towers.
Okay.
Veno has to not feed more than twice before he has a 4 staff.
All right, well, that seems pretty doable. Should be pretty doable. Cap Gods, how doable is that really?
I don't know, Sheever. Our panel makes it sound pretty bad for Evil Geniuses, but then again, they made it sound pretty bad for Vici Gaming last game. We saw that turned out. They said it was all about the snowball last game. Vici Gaming did exactly that. They're saying the same thing for EG. Gods, I guess I'll give you that question. You think EG can actually snowball in this game?
Definitely possible. I don't think it's all in on it as well. They've got some interesting things going. S4 going back to the Lash track, so it's kind of like a little bit of OG flair coming into the EG side here. We'll see Sumail and the Dragon Knight, not really a Sumail-esque hero, but, you know, Fly tells you what to play, you listen to Fly. And we'll see how this works out for them. It is going to be that unfavorable DK versus Razor mid matchup, though, which is where I actually thought EG were going to run Lash track mid and do something like a DK in the side lane, but not the case.
You know how everybody's been playing basketball here?
Yeah.
Right? All the Dota players getting into it, some of the talent as well, and apparently Fly doesn't play basketball. He hasn't been joining them on the court. He's just been going to the gym twice a day.
Twice a day.
So maybe that's why Sumail listens to him. You know? He just flexes those muscles at you. If Sumail ever tries to talk back, Fly just gives him one of the, you know, he just flexes real hard. Sumail's like, all right, it's cool. I love Dragon Knight. Dragon Knight's my hero. Bounty Hunter is a hero that may end up giving away first blood here. He's stuck inside the cogs right now. S4 just laying into him. Fortunately, there's an Omni Knight. Had to go for the heal. Will allow Fenrir to survive. Fenrir is low, though, so it means they're unlikely to be able to contest the bounty run. So this time around, looks like Evil Geniuses might just be able to pick up 3 of them, as Furion's going to be able to chase away Lanham. And eat. Oh, Oh,
They didn't go for the other one. They want to go for the behind tower harass. I think they just
Fair
assumed
enough.
Bounty Hunter already ran to the other bounty rune since they don't want to waste their sentry, even though they had one. It's just so easy for Bounty Hunter to be in a good spot to just run out of range, and suddenly you've wasted 100 gold.
So we do not want the Omni Knight against the Leshrac Clockwork, apparently. Vici Gaming going to put the Quap Tusk into that, and they want the Omni Knight against the Venomancer instead.
Okay. Yeah, I think the Omni versus this Venom lane makes a lot of sense. There's nothing to cancel, like TPs. He can get bullied a little bit by the constant harass, but he's also going to be able to just pull waves from behind the tower, which is where he's headed for now. So we'll see how these lanes work for Vici Gaming. They're the ones who have a tri lane happening up top. They're actually going for a kill in S1, and they may have it.
S4 managed to only hit one with a split earth. Will end up falling. That'll be your first blood going to Ori's Queen of Pain.
Crit wandered off the lane. I'm not sure where he was headed. Perhaps to, he was blocking the pull camp, it looks like. So since there was a sentry there, he wanted to make sure they can't pull. You're versing a tri-lane, defensive tri-lane. Pulls can just instantly help you win this lane. So
Snag on him here. Inside the cogs, gets a lot of damage on him. Ori's Queen of Pain tries to return fire as much as possible. Of course, you don't really want to be hitting the Clockwork too much. You want to be threatening S4's life, as he is kind of the squishy one. Meanwhile, Furion is going to be forced to TP away, getting very aggressive with his harassment in the bottom lane, trying to chase Old 11 away from the creep wave that he pulled.
yeah, I like that bounty after getting the kill top immediately TP's bottom. Knows you don't want to be splitting that experience 3 ways. There was no pull camp available, so a tri-lane up top would have been very bad for them in terms of their early game growth. So he goes bottom. He forces Prophet to TP, and this is a level 1 Prophet. Normally, Prophet's amazing in this support role because there's no laning downtime because you have both teleport and the TP scroll. At level 1, you haven't skilled up that teleport yet.
I will agree with you, Gons, but it does leave him completely mana-starved. He is going to have one last Shadow Walk. He has nothing else for him, so hopefully he's just going to die soon. Honestly, that's the best life for the Bounty Hunter, is just give up his life. Hopefully they can kill like the Venomancer. He can trade himself out and go back to base that way. Top lane, Crit does get sharded in, takes a bit of damage, but S4 chases away the Queen of Pain. He'll be fine there.
So if you're bounty, you're like, yo, 11, we need courier, right? Like, you need anything from shop? Like, can we bring this thing bottom?
Yeah, you're fine in your mid matchup, right? Paparazzi, Razor versus DK. You don't need the courier. Let the side things happen. Again, the battle between the cogs and the shards. This time around, Snowball dodge, split earth. Yeah, it'll be enough. Snowball finished off S4. Vici Gaming seems like it was a wise choice for them to run this Quap against the Leshrac. Its harassment is proving to make this lane pretty difficult.
It's a kill lane, and Leshrac, very squishy hero, and that's where running this Leshrac in the off lane and letting the DK go mid just seems a little bit odd. I think EG's lanes would look a whole lot scarier with this Leshrac mid and the DK playing a side lane. But EG are going to stick to their guns and go with this laning setup, and we'll see what comes out of it. Veno's having a great time in terms of overall farm at the bottom lane. Ortizi's got the full Plague Ward set up. Veno can't really come close. Omni can't come close, and things are looking pretty good for his lane, at least.
Arteezy has started the ward spam, so he's going to start camping out right in front of this tier 1 tower, hoping to be able to take it down pretty early. And that is one of the big advantages of heroes like this safe lane Venomancer, is that most of the time you watch these games, the off lane tier 1 stays alive for a really long time. I feel like it's a hard tower for you to push into as a team, and it protects that off lane jungle for both sides, which is pretty important. So teams just don't want to give it up, but Omni Knight may not have much of a choice as this poke damage just keeps on coming in.
Yeah, he's not really a hero who can do much about these Plague Wards.
Snowball, S4 had the healing salve out. Slotham goes for, make sure that gets canceled. They missed the split earth, but the cogs run back in, blinking in, or he's going to try and finish off S4 and should be able to do it too. Now he's going to have to battle out with Crit. Both of them return to their corners, thinking that the other would be able to win that man fight.
Surprised Ori doesn't go for that follow-up kill. He had 12 one-charges. He definitely wins a man fight there, but he may not be able to get the kill. He may just think, oh, if I trade blows, he's going to get away on low health and I take more damage than I need to. So either way, Clockwork has to go back to base, so makes a safer call.
And he's got 3 ranged creeps and 4 melee creeps pushing into his tower. He does not want to miss that wave.
Absolutely. So His lane's not having the best time up here, despite the kills onto S4.
5-minute rune. The battle for it in the bottom lane. Fenrir does snag it away from RTZ, and they have no dust, no sentries to be able to punish him. It does mean S4 takes both of them in the top lane. So.
Yes, so 2 each.
Mid lane, Clockwork TPing in. What's he doing here? Maybe just getting wards down? Not thinking you're going to threaten a Razor's life, that's for sure.
Yeah, looks like he's just on warding duty. Puts one mid, he's going to go to the off lane and put one there as well. Top lane, they're going
for alone,
S4.
put the shards. It missed.
Yeah.
And Ori's super low. Ooh. Ori.
He needs to find a shrine. Yeah.
Dude, this guy is a man. How has he not popped his magic wand there?
Did the math, I guess.
I guess so.
He knew that damage coming out from the lightning. But yeah, that was cutting it close. It's not dropping his null. There we go.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. You do that a bit faster.
You're going to be that efficient and not
15 health?
Yeah. Don't use your wand, but don't drop your wand either.
Yeah.
3-1 right now. Vici Gaming holding a slight lead in this laning phase. Even Old 11, who is probably having the hardest lane of all with RTZ, just kind of owning it right now. 45-14 for him. The Unli Knight still getting decent gold out of the lane, and he's getting good experience. Top lane, S4 is going to go down. Ori will be able to finish him off. Crit. Man fighting against Lana does have a snowball as well as the shard, so he can just buy time for Ori to lay more and more damage into Crit. He picks up the Quap. They run into it. Crit, hoping to be able to get the kill still on Lana. Not able to do so. They grab both the kills in the top lane. Vici Gaming now 5-1 with a 1,000 gold.
This is a 0-4 Leshrac, and this is not a hero played as a core that's going to come back that well. A kill like that will help you come back, though. 321 gold going his way. Definitely helping out S4's game a bit, but the case still stands. He is having a very rough time in terms of what he's getting out of his lane.
RTZ and Fly will take down that tower. They kept the siege wagon alive from the 5-minute spawn all the way into 7 minutes.
This is really awkward. Like, what do you do with this bottom lane? Like, Venom takes a tier 1. He's going to go for the tier 2 now, and Omni Knight, same thing applies as the tier 1. He cannot defend this. And if you want to defend this, you can't just bring in like a +1. You need to bring in the cavalry. You need 4 heroes to rotate. You need 3 or 4 heroes down here.
Full snowball under RTZ, but he positioned himself right next to the shard, so all those melee heroes trapped inside, trying to get away from the Razor, blocked in by the ward as well, but it just wasn't enough. Razor gets that final swipe.
Well, they do just that. They bring in a core hero, and Razor's the one who will address the Venom problem. He knows his lane's in a pretty good spot with DK getting bullied, and DK's actually left to go and push the off lane now.
Split Earth lands. Ori taking a lot of battery assault damage, will be forced to blink himself away. Big advantage of having the support Furion, we were talking about it in the draft, is that they have a hero that can push out waves, whereas last game they had RTZ, and he was just kind of having to run down lanes and die continuously. Here, Furion cleans up the mid wave, while Sumail makes a rotation like this. It means Evil Geniuses are going to be able to secure both of the side lane tier 1 towers by 8 minutes.
Yep. Securing the top one to make sure it didn't get denied as well, so definitely nice bit of play there by them. Vici Gaming is seeing these moves, but they're just not really equipped to take these fights yet. You've got these 2 supports who are level 3 and 4. They match up very poorly against Benno, very poorly against even like a Dragon Knight. It's an under-leveled, under-farmed DK, but this hero is still tanky as a frontliner. 1250 health, pops his Dragon Form, and he's just going to outrange these melee supports, and you don't really want to go in on a Dragon Knight when there's heroes like Lesh and Clockwork sitting behind him.
So similar to the way we were talking about Vici Gaming and how they were ahead in 15 minutes, but they were supposed to be ahead. Oh no,
gosh,
another
oh,
one!
okay,
All
got
right.
2 hits.
He got the second hit in.
He, once again, does not RNG the courier. Someone like, I think it was Puppy or someone was telling me it's like even higher than 50% chance to one-shot it.
Is it?
It was, I don't know exactly what the math was, but it was something like 70-80% chance to kill it.
Well, Fenrir is just not getting the love. So far, he even had the extra ironwood branch to help him out there.
This +1 damage, that'll do it. No. Buys a blade of attack immediately afterwards.
RTZ, you can see he's got a host of wards here, so we can start taking away some of the Vici Gaming resources that are supposed to be held by them. Normally, the offlane jungle is like this guaranteed safe haven to farm, but a Venomancer taking away your tier 1 tower, now planting a bunch of wards here, is going to start farming up that Ancients. And this will just mean more and more of a sort of laning phase advantage for EG as they start pushing into the dire jungle here, hoping to be able to secure these bounty runes. Crit. All right, they're going to shards in, and Ori's going to make the jump forward. He's going to try and get the kill onto Crit, but Sumail, he does have the Dragon Form with a long-range stun. He could throw it down, trying to save Crit's life. Meanwhile, bottom lane, a TP way is successful.
And S4 survived in a sliver of health there, even against a phase breach Razor. Shrek's movement speed, one of the strong points of this hero, and I believe that was, 4 bounty runes for EG. So Novena not just taking over the enemy jungle, but laying claim to that bounty rune ground as this team able to get a decent little chunk of gold out of that one.
Yeah, I would say maybe it wasn't one of the mistakes from Evil Genius's last game, but it was just something their draft wasn't allowing them to be able to do, was really control the map the way Vici Gaming was, and as a result, you just lose on not just the space of farming and the natural net worth loss that is there, but jump in on Razor. This could be a big kill. S4 already has some magic damage on top. Moon Crit with a level 6. Quick to be able to pick up a kill. Ori trying to commit. Oh, thankfully, 11 gives him that extra bit of burst damage with Purification to finish off S4. So they do trade out cores.
Nicely done there, knowing that the Omni's behind him and he can get that bit of extra follow-up damage. Razor going down there. Clockwork, a hero that you can get on top of this Razor very early on. Talk about the importance of the 4-staff on this Veno. It feels like Vici Gaming themselves will need a 4-staff.
And just get the dust on the Fenrir fly. Will help him out now. And he managed to get out of that Sprout, but a big hit from that ultimate fly. Threw it somewhere else and got one of the later bounces onto the Bounty Hunter, making him look pretty squishy. Yep.
Nice little kill. These pesky, annoying Bounty Hunters always kind of got to hunt down as much as you kind of don't want to waste time doing
Sumail's in a choke point. He knows it too with Razor nearby. He is in big trouble. Now, fortunately, his chart doesn't completely block out this area, but Lonum still has a snowball. They should be able to run it pretty easily. 4 to 8. Vici Gaming just found a very big kill. And Sumail, who, similar to Arteezy, just kind of pushing out those side lanes pretty recklessly, and does end up losing his life as a result.
Tough game for Sumail. He had this bad lane matchup, and
Get it, Fenrir. Look at that sexy ward behind the tier 1. Another courier kill for the Mr. Cat team. Oh, but he'll die. It doesn't matter. You'll always trade your life for a courier.
Oh yeah. I think teams are not addressing the Bounty Hunter enough. He always seems to be getting these deep wards, and what we started seeing some teams doing is setting up these traps where you have an Observer Sentry combo planned together, and Sentry's got buffed. They last 6 minutes now, so they match the Observer Ward timing. If you put those in like entry points onto your side of the map, you're going to scout that bounty coming in, and a hero like Clockwork can just instantly, when you see him come to your side of the map, TP over, hookshot, kill. And that's what I feel like EG should be doing more of, because this bounty just gives too much scouting information, courier snipes. Like, these things need to be shut down.
Yeah, even though it feels like you're putting a lot of resources into killing a support, I think you very rightfully pointed out, like, it's a lot of information that you're giving away as well when this bounty hunter is on your side of the map, and it's not something that you can just needlessly give away.
And it's a battle you need to stay on top of, because you can't even really do it now. It's kind of too late once he's got these 3 deep Observer Wards down. It's kind of like one of this battle, like whoever gets their wards down first has an advantage, because they're going to see the opposing team come in to then plant their wards. You have a better idea of where they are. You're going to know the movement before your opponents do. But definitely something where you want to watch these bounty players and see like trends, like where they plant.
He baited it out. Arteezy does have a TP, but the damage a little bit close there. He does manage to pick up his 4-staff. I believe Kyle said Arteezy should not feed more than 2 times before his 4-staff pickup. Well, he's only died once. So I guess that's step 1 for Evil Genius's road to success, according to Kyle.
They're in a good position where they can start taking these towers one by one. They don't push fast, but they can push.
Oh, the hook shot intercepted by the creep wave. He was hoping he could just get a momentary stun onto Ori. That'll allow the Dragon Knight to be able to follow up. Old 11 putting himself on the front lines there with 1,700 HP and a maxed out repel. He is a pretty hard hero to bring down, but Vici Gaming is still struggling to have the kind of presence to be able to take fights against EG.
Yeah, they haven't had these like support level 6s yet, so they don't want to take like a fight that's already going to be difficult for them when they're not even getting track money for it. You don't mind kind of trading kills if there's a track or something in play, but Fenrir may just get solo killed. He does not have his invis.
Run over by S4. That'll allow him to finish up drums pretty soon here. Samael is getting an armlet on his Dragonite. Battle for the Bounty Runes again. Crit up against Lana. Ori's going to join the party here, so Crit may have got the Bounty Rune, but again, it's a suicide mission for the support.
3 out of the 4 though, as EG keep game 2 very competitive. Again, we're going to see a game where these BKBs being prioritized on certain heroes. Razor opting for one. Don't see one on the Queen of Pain who wants to get this Orchid first and does have the repel to back him up. And this is a game where 11 is max repel very early on, just the single point in the DJ.
It feels like Ori is always low from the spam of like the Leshrac and this Dragonite. Like he just gets hit by some of these nukes and he doesn't want to be going back all the time, but it's also a bit dangerous to be running around at just 500 HP all the time.
Yeah, he hasn't been able to defend any of these towers or take too many fights because of his health, but I do like that he's stayed on the map more than going back to base because he's maintained a pretty good level of farm. He's 1,000 net worth behind a Veno, but you're not really going to keep up with a Veno who has the entire map to work with and who has not been pressured. Also has a 90 GPM talent.
Yeah. Your Orchid timing is very important here, right? Because it means you can actually go for team fights against a Venomancer, lock him down with a silence, and blow him up before he gets off any of his spells. Same goes with Leshrac. Like, those are two relatively squishy heroes. They both have picked up a decent amount of stats recently, but your goal to be able to win team fights if you're Vici Gaming is get solid initiation, disable one of those two heroes, and take them out before they put all that work in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the burst damage from like a Queen of Pain with the track that needs to come out on one target that you find and initiate on. You don't really want that drawn out fight. That's where Veno shines. Any fight that's going to last 15, 20 seconds, you know, everyone's getting low, the Plague Ward, the Poison Stings, chipping away people, the Poison Nova, that's a lost fight if you're Vici Gaming. Whereas these quick pickoffs is much more to their style. They do see Fenrir in this mid lane. He walked through a Sentry Ward and they've got the stun now.
With his dying breath, he throws out a track just for that extra bit of information. But information doesn't do you a whole lot if you can't actually fight into EG. And EG's taking advantage of that. They're being very greedy. You can see Arteezy is sitting in the mid lane, and he's accessing both the offlane jungle as well as that other ancient camp. He is getting both kinds of farms here, and Vici Gaming are struggling to be able to find enough space to get their BKB.
He's farming that dire camp trifecta, which is normally like, you know, this is the one last beacon of farm. When you're a dire team, you're losing the game, you've lost all your tier 1s. What do you do as a carry? You go to that shrine and farm those 3 camps? No, Arteezy's there. And he can do this because normally you try and play this area, you're going to get ganked. You're playing on the high ground. Arteezy's able to play very far back because he's got Plague Wards. He's also pretty unkillable. This Hurricane Pike treads, he's very tanky, and there's no good heroes to quickly burst him down. Perhaps the Clop Orchid changes that, but even with an Orchid, the Hurricane Pike could get him out of danger.
Shards blocking crit in. Walks around it. Lana thinking about pursuing, but they know it's just a bit too dangerous here. The Evil Geniuses, I think you also have to assume that they're always going to be somewhere kind of near this Venomancer, at least one of the heroes, you know, just in case. If they do jump the Arteezy Veno and they bring him down, Venomancer is probably going to get off his Poison Nova. He's going to get a lot of damage in. You want to make sure you capitalize on that. You got to make sure you have something like the Furion ready to TP in or the Clockwork ready to hook shot.
Feels like a very awkward game for Vici with their draft. Like, they've got 4 heroes that don't really do damage. The one that does, the Queen of Pain.
Yeah. They'll find the Nature's Prophet before he could really get this bottom lane pushing out.
Yep. But yeah, your Razor, and with a BKB, Razor can start doing damage because you can just run in statically someone with a BKB and not melt. But as it stands, your 2 supports, you have an Omni Knight and a Razor with that BKB. These heroes don't make plays, they don't make moves, they can't really burst a target down, which is how you have to approach a fight when you're versing a Veno team. So it's really all in on Ori able to make plays. He's done well so far. He's 3-0-5, constantly trying to push his hero to the limit, but it does feel like Vici Gaming are going to need items to kind of correct some of the weaknesses of their draft.
And they also just have to deal with the lanes constantly being pushed into them, right? Razor is really adept at being able to clear through creeps. And this Omni Knight is always having to camp out somewhere. It does mean, though, that while Vici Gaming, it feels like they're being pressed in. It feels like all their lanes are pushing into them all the time. They're not able to make a whole lot of offensive maneuvers. They're also taking advantage of it in full farm. S4 in trouble in the top lane. Paparazzi tries to go for the stun. BKB reveal from Paparazzi guarantees the kill.
One of those games I think we're just going to see BKBs going for solo kills as just happened top. That just seems like something EG are going to have to be facing all game long.
Orchid, they baited in the Venomancer. Again, 11 just positioning himself against the Veno, knowing he's not going to die. But baiting RTZ into at least putting a lot of damage into him. And that means he's out of position, or he cleans up the kill with the help of Lana.
Yeah, these are big kills for Vici Game to be getting. It feels like some of the first swings their way, the bounty track kills, and even though Vici Gaming are up on kills, it's EG who've really had full control of this game for the first 20 minutes. They're getting all the bounty runes, they've got better map control, they're the ones who have the better lane shove, and they've taken full advantage of that. So Vici Gaming, you need to be getting these hero snipes in order to kind of make up for the fact that you're being outfarmed and your lanes are constantly being pressured.
And I think it's, I mean, from our perspective, we know the network difference. It is very dangerous, the fact that Vici Gaming are actually up by 1K. You're usually the one holding all this map control and you're forcing the enemy team to move around and stuff. You're taking away neutral areas like Arteezy's doing. You're expecting that you would have a net worth lead, but that's not actually the case.
Yeah, I feel like EG probably feels this game like they're ahead right now in some ways because of just the nature of the game with they're the ones applying pressure, keeping everything pushed out. The one area they probably don't is that S4's had a really rough time. He's died 6 times this game. The left track was definitely not really set up to succeed with the lanes, and that's something where EG have struggled.
Yeah, when he was playing on OG and they were picking left track, he was playing in really good laning situations, right?
Yes.
And here, he's unfortunately going to get thrown away. The Evil Geniuses will go for their first tier 2 tower push, apparently feeling like S4 getting picked off and then Arteezy getting picked off like that. They can't afford to be as greedy as they have been in the past. They're going to try and push out against EG. Oh, Ori's just jumping in with his BKB. He's going straight for the kill on Dragon Knight, but a force tap away. He gets out. Arteezy now letting out that Poison Nova. Evil Geniuses trying to draw Vici Gaming away as far as possible, and then maybe think about going back in where the poison has done its effect. But Vici Gaming, thanks to the sustain of the Omni Knight and their long duration BKBs, they just don't take any damage.
These are the first few fights where I think EG have to be very careful. You're versing an Omni who's got Pipe and Mech. Both cores have BKBs, 10-second on Queen of Pain and 9-second on Razor. You're not going to come out on top of these fights. Even a slightly longer fight where EG normally would be favored and not going to go well from here.
Snowball, oh, trying to set up for the cogs, but Ori, he denied even that to crit. Immediately got the Orchid on top of him. S4 does manage to get a force tap away. Tried to live, but Ori, he will fearlessly blink in, maybe too fearlessly because he didn't have his BKB and won't have the opportunity to blink out. That is not a kill you want to trade out. That is an extra 600 gold he just gave away in exchange for a measly Leshrac kill that was not worth much.
Yep, and then the follow-up, once your Clops dived in the base, EG's like, all right, well, you know, Clops down, let's just go chasing for more. There's no BKB. Surely they can't turn and fight us, so they get the Tusk kill as well in the DK. And a bit overzealous from Ori. He's had a great game up until that point. And I think part of that has been because of his aggression, so you know, sometimes you're going to make those questionable dives. Kind of just comes with the nature of his play this game, but that is a costly one because it's not just a couple kills, it's a couple kills into a Roshan.
Yeah, big difference from Vici Gaming and EG, Game 1 and Game 2. EG may control the map, but they also have Roche taking because they have such good area control, thanks to the wards. It's so hard to be able to fight into wards preemptively set up. They're going to try, though. Paparazzi diving in, has a BKB, still ready to go with Ori throwing it in. Age is picked up by Samael just in time, but Samael, he will fall very quickly, just trying to get whatever damage he can on a Paparazzi, but Ori is laying waste in the back lines again, finding all those squishy heroes and tearing them a new one. S4, he'll be the next one to follow. Snowball will follow this Dragon Knight away as he tried to pick up that Invis rune and get out, but a sentry laid in place means he will not escape. 4 dead from EG, plus that Aegis life is gone. Even Crit being chased out by Ori. He doesn't try and go for the kill, though. He just leaves it at 4. Big win for Vici Gaming.
Yeah, you've got these Plague Wards scouting everyone coming out, kind of controlling the area. Paparazzi says, I don't care. I'm going to phase boot drums in with Repel on into BKB. He had 15 seconds of total magic immunity there. And then when it all wears off, he's got a heal from an Omni if needed, a follow-up Repel, because by that point, Repel's like 3 or 4 seconds away from being back up. So then he's got another 7 seconds. So he had about, you know, if he gets a second Repel there, he's looking at over 20 seconds of magic immunity in a 30-second fight. So very hard to deal with this Razor in that pit where he's getting off a big status.
Why? Went for the bounty runes, didn't get it, and also died, also giving away a track kill.
Yes.
These sort of pickoffs cannot feel good for Evil Genius. Now, Vici Gaming up by 7,000 gold. Just like Game 1, it seems we're going to see a similar vein of thought, though. They very much understand when they're quite strong. They were very happy to sit back and farm and everything, and once they got their very integral items to their composition, they just took multiple fights to EG. Even if they did lose one of those, they still understood and did not back down.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how this game develops, because it does feel like if this Veno can get kind of level 20, level 25 talents, where he gets the +7 seconds on the Poison Nova, that's when this game can start looking scary for Vici Gaming. You go down to these 5-second BKBs, you're versing this really long 25-second Poison Nova. Can you sustain against that? They've got Pipe, they've got Mech, they've got an Omni Knight, so they have got sustain, but that's a lot of damage over time you're dealing with.
Crit. His smoke pops, they know Fenrir's nearby, and he finds him, but doesn't get the cogs on him, and now he's trapped by the shards from Lana. Now his team's gonna kind of hover around, make sure that Crit doesn't actually get gone off, but of course Quap,
Leave
hey,
it die, yeah.
you know, when a Queen of Pain comes in, he's got Repel. That is immediately the sign for Evil Geniuses to back out. They can no longer save Crit's life.
Kind of went through some different stages this game where it was like this EG had this unstoppable 5-man lineup. If they went for a tower push with a DK in the front lines, Dragon formed up, Venom with Plague Wars everywhere, Vici Gaming couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
But now we're at this point where these Plague Wards aren't scary anymore. Yeah, they slow you, they're annoying, but they're not scary. They don't actually get you that low. You just run past them, you ignore them, you go straight for the heroes. You have this phase, drums, BKBs, Hurricane Pikes on the Razor, these mobility items. So on top of that, Queen of Pain has Blink, so you can actually just ignore the Plague Wards, and all of a sudden, DK Veno are not this unstoppable 5-man unit, particularly when DK still does not have a BKB.
They may not have the greatest tower hitters in the world, but if the enemy team can't really fight you, you can just mow down lanes. Queen of Pain and Razor will pretty easily be enough. They're going to try and finish up an Aghanim Scepter for the Razor. Just picked up his level 20, so he's got that Eye of the Storm interval buff. And we do have level 18 for Ori. Which one do you like more, by the way? Do you like the AoE Shadow Strike or the Spell Steal?
I'm not a quad player. I've seen a lot of both in my games from teammates. But I always like when I see my co-ops have that AoE Shadow Strike, just for, you know, clearing creep waves and taking team fights. Like, as a teammate, I feel like the Shadow Strike is better, but...
Push back there with the Kongs. Paparazzi forced to use his BKB. He does have that Hurricane Pike still, trying to stay ahead of S4, but now the magic immunity is gone. Yule Scepter sets him up for the split Earth, and they will run over Paparazzi. 11's trying to get there. He gets off the heel of the mech, but now, without the Razor being kept alive, 11's going to be in trouble, and Evil Geniuses see that opportunity. They strike on it. They immediately jump onto 11. He's going to be body blocked in by trees, by treants, the whole kit and caboodle. 2 cores down from Vici Gaming. Evil Geniuses will get that support bounty hunter as well, who almost got S4 by himself.
That is going to be tier 2 tower. They can go high ground. They can at least force a buyback, of which Vici Gaming will be at 2, and that was just a mistake. Razor getting caught out alone. No Omni Knight nearby. He almost survived for long enough that the Omni Knight could get there to save his life, but does ultimately get brought down, and EG is able to capitalize on a bit of mispositioning coming up from Vici Gaming.
And a very big difference, right? EG, they don't have to win that many fights to be able to go high ground. They actually have very good natural tower pushers between a Core Lashrak, a Dragonite, and Venomancer. All 3 of those cores push in, but Venomancer almost dies. We have to get off the BKB. Let's lose that ultimate. Poison Nova goes out, and they couldn't even take him down. Arteezy walks away with 50 HP, and Ori has to head back to the fountain. A dieback for Fenrir, and it looks like even that tier 3 may drop. The wards chipping it away bit by bit. Lanham's trying to deal with it solo right now. All right. it will be enough to keep the tower alive. They can go for the deny a little bit later if they want.
Leave it alive for now, so Vici cannot take the shrines. Not the worst hold for Vici Gaming, even though it's a dieback on Bounty Hunter. The key thing is they don't have to buy back Omni Knight. They actually keep their tier 3 tower alive, what little health it still has. So ultimately, it's not a huge major loss for them. A scenario where Omni has to buy back and you lose the tier 3 tower still, and then you EG go into pushing your shrine, that looks bad, but Paparazzi, oh my gosh, same thing as we just saw. Is he going to get caught again?
Oh man, they're going to try and save him with a snowball, but there are no heroes around. There's just no way for them to be able to save Paparazzi, I think. He's going to try and get a force snap over the cliff. Is he away? They're going to try and chase him down, slowing him down bit by bit. Oh, stood in front of the hook shot. That's no good, but Sumail does have that blink dagger. Still trying to chase him down. He gets the extra movement speed from the track. So important that Fenrir gives up his life just to be able to give Paparazzi the movement speed. He's going to try and TP away. They have the split earth. He's dead again, this time for 70 seconds. And you may have killed Fly in the bottom lane. That's what the rest of the team was doing. They ran into that Nature's Prophet again for that 30-minute bounty rune spawn, just like he died last time. The difference is it's a support. He can buy back, TP in, no problem.
Yeah, they're just not respecting EG's catch here, and even with a BKB there, unless you like BKB TP away, which you can't really do against a Clockwork, you're just going to die because they slow you so much with this Venom.
Orchid laid out. They're going to try and go for the kill onto Crit with Ori holding a double damage rune. That changing the fight a ton amount. He is hitting so much physical damage. Sumail, he's going to be left behind. S4, look at that. Immediately, the snowball comes out from Lanham, recognizing that there's more kills for them to be able to grab. And sure enough, they got the slow on S4. Should be able to run him down. S4's playing a little hide-and-seek game behind the trees, but he will be found eventually. Triple kill for Ori. Once again, Vici Gaming, it seems like they're on the brink of disaster. And then they just managed these magnificent holds.
Yeah, their high ground defense is impeccable right now. Ori's Queen of Pain is just untouchable. And while the Razor's getting picked off a couple of times here and Paparazzi's not having his best performance over the last couple of minutes, and EG doing a great job finding these pickoffs, I think we're seeing EG just kind of overvalue how strong their lineup is when this Razor goes down. This Queen of Pain defending high ground with like this Tusk initiation. There's so much lockdown and control coming in from the snowball and the punch that they've just got plenty of tools to still hold high ground.
See that snowball play again, which did buy Paparazzi a lot of time, but in the end, still lost his life. They lost the Hyperstone. That is down for 3 minutes. The courier dies. Ori finds a pick off on that. He did go for the Assault Cuirass. I love the fact that he's turning into a right-click build. Certainly needed as we are, well, we could be heading into the late game right now as we are very solidly in that sort of mid-game area at 32 minutes. But
yeah, I think we may have considered like the Shivers over this, but the Omni already has one, so stacking up a lot of these auras, armor items.
Fenrir found. Now, this could be a worthy sacrifice. The rest of the team is coming in from behind. They've already used the hook shot onto Crit, so now, oh no, Sumail! He already managed to get the blink in stun onto Paparazzi, slowing down a lot of that damage. Paparazzi is going to take away all of Sumail's damage though, so he's standing and fighting for nothing. Arteezy, he's trying to lay out damage onto Mr. Cat. Looks like Ori is going to go down. S4 managed to get the splitter, but Paparazzi still had his full BKB out. Arteezy, he'll die as well. Crit couldn't even get the pushback from the cogs there. He'll get pushed away by the Hurricane Pike. Snowball will chase him down, and EG lose 4, this time around on their side of the map.
You asked about the Quap talents. I can very confidently say, having seen a couple fights with it, Lifesteal is way better than the AoE Shadow Strike in a game against the Venomancer.
Yeah.
You're taking damage over time. There's a long drawn-out fight. You want that spell Lifesteal. If you're in a short, quick fight, maybe it's not as valuable, but this kind of a game, Lashrak, Veno, AoE Magic Nukes, when you throw that, he threw that Sonic Wave, he healed up about 600-700 health and just allowed himself to stay alive that little bit longer. EG still bring him down, but that allowed the fight to just kind of go Vici Gaming's way, and things are looking pretty damn good for Vici Gaming still, as EG just struggling to really capitalize on the kills that they have been able to get on the Razor.
I think very important, the fact that they managed to force a buyback out of Arteezy, right? Because Evil Geniuses, they can win a fight, they can go high ground, they can threaten your racks, they can threaten objectives very easily. Vici Gaming do not have the same kind of ease of pushing high ground as they do, but forcing out a buyback is still an objective of sorts, even if it's not a building.
This is, you know, the Vici Gaming that we've talked about a bit. They want to build up that slow, steady gold lead, turn this 10k gold lead into a 15 into 20k gold lead. They probably don't take racks until they're up 20k gold this game, theoretically, unless they somehow kill this Venomancer who doesn't have buyback, but their lineup wasn't picked to go high ground. It was picked to, you know, control lanes, be a strong mid-game team-fighting unit, play around the Omni Knight, the Repel, have this sustainability. They're not prioritizing tower objectives. They're prioritizing hero kills and just this economic advantage.
I mean, you know me, I'm an objective person. I love seeing lineups that take objectives. Yep. And when I'm looking at that last pick, I'm thinking, I want a tower hitter. You were totally right. You said, nah, man, it's Vici Gaming. They want to just kill things. And that's exactly what they did. They picked a killer in the Queen of Pain. A great game for him, as they're now going to jump onto RTZ. Gets off the Poison Nova, BKB activated, but he needs to be able to get away from Paparazzi. Paparazzi in hot pursuit, though. Force staff for force staff. Now going to be slowed down. Hook shot it up. Repel goes out. He's just laying damage into S4. Even if he's stunned, it's that Eye of the Storm is just laying into crit now as well. They may have kept Arteezy alive, but one by one, these cores will fall. Sumail turns, trying to fight up against Ori. Ori thinking better, and instead of right-clicking any one of these heroes, he just blinks himself away. His BKB was wearing off anyway, so better to retreat, forcing another 2 buybacks out. Again, EG just laying lives on the line to keep Arteezy up, knowing that he did not have that buyback.
Fall back, get some bounty runes, trying up. Vici Gaming going to be very happy with how that fight goes down when those buybacks are used. Ori with some great reactions there. He actually dodged the Dragon Tail stun mid-animation with the BKB. And as a result, did not go down even with the buybacks coming into play there. So really good end result from Vici Gaming. It just feels like they can run through all these slows here with the track movement speed, you know, the Hurricane Pike on the Razor, the phase boots, the Quappling. There's enough mobility that these Venom slows are not just instantly winning these fights. And on top of that, Arteezy going for a full-on right-click build is much more of a right-clicking threat than like an AoE magic damage threat, which is, I think, an appropriate build given you're against this Omni Knight, this heavy sustain. It just doesn't feel as good going for this long-duration Poison Nova Aghanim Scepter build against an Omni.
Yeah, and this Butterfly will certainly help against the Razor, but that's only if he gets it. Here's a 4-man push out from Vici Gaming. You can see they're leaving Arteezy up here in this top lane. A bit of a risky maneuver, but it is buying a lot of space because Fly's also doing the same thing at bottom. So this smoke, it does feel relatively obvious. Vici Gaming, you know, only one lane they could possibly be at that point in time. They did manage to find Fly. Fly forced himself over the cliff. TP's out. All right. Sneaky little play there, and it's opened up a potential tier 2 in bottom lane. Ori has got to be able to defend that.
Vici Gaming just need to go back, address these lanes a bit, and that's going to be probably the next 10 minutes of this game is EG just being pesky, pushing out these lanes. Nature's probably can TP to the side lanes.
Spot out a couple heroes. Hook shot. Oh, into the back line he goes. Landed on ult 11. Had to force staff himself over the cliff. Fortunately, does manage to get away. Vici Gaming, they didn't blow anything too big, though. Just Eye of the Storm managed to get the slowdown. Or get turning. Arteezy pops the BKB, but the physical damage just laying into him. He's already dead. Dead for 95 seconds, too. Evil Geniuses, they're going to have to fight somehow without him. The snowball rolls on through these heroes. Picks up Ori on the way in. Ori just lays out the Sonic Wave to wipe out that Dragonite. S4, his Aeon Disc popped. A lot of these heroes a little bit low. Ori is ticking out from some of the poison, but the poison ends. He'll have 200 HP to spare. And Evil Geniuses, well, they've got no heroes to spare. Fly's just desperately trying to push out that bottom lane because they can't actually fight into Vici Gaming. They've got a full minute with 2 of their cores down.
Yeah. Fly's been kind of awkwardly sitting on 4 or 5k gold for a while. He's had this hex queued up, but never really gotten to a point where he can full on buy it, and this doesn't really feel like there's been that much progression from EG in terms of items. The Venos continue to get more and more farm, but Veno is just not like a natural right-click carry.
Now, other teams may have considered going high ground. Vici Gaming go for the Roshan and immediately stop Evil Geniuses from getting the initiation. They actually walk outside of the pin, meet S4 head on, take him down. Paparazzi, though, it's quite low. Maybe Fly can finish him off. He's dropping lower and lower. The Cox pushback, and that is enough. Fly, he starts walking away on just a sliver of HP. Ori's on the hunt. He wants revenge for Paparazzi, but he will not get it. Back into the Roshan pit they go, but now Evil Geniuses have slowed things down enough. Dragonite is up.
Still can't stop Roche going down, but it's enough where this Aegis Cheese isn't going to immediately be like a push. They've got to wait for the Razor to come back. They're not really in a point where they want to buy back and force any kind of a high ground play. They've got to push out top lane, bottom lane, and that continues to be an ongoing issue for Vici Gaming, just keeping the lane pressure. Now,
you can see Fly